Hello, everyone, and welcome to another show of Renovating Riches Radio. I'm here with our host, Ricardo Rosales.
And the co-host, Mr. Dennis Rodriguez. And
And we are
I
live.
actually gotta turn this off. Sorry, I apologize.
See, this is part of the bloopers.
This is the part I like. Neil, can you share that? Yes.
And today we have an awesome program again. We're going to be talking a little bit about real estate with Mr. Sammy Gupta. Sammy, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Did you get lost getting here to our office?
No, not too much. It's just the one-way streets which mess you up.
So Sammy's going to be talking about a very interesting project he has going on that might help, local investors and people, doesn't have to be local, but we're going to let him explain exactly what he's doing. But I'm pretty sure Ricardo wants to ask first, where do you come from? How did you get here? How you came about doing what you're doing.
And the question I always ask our
The social security
social
number.
security number, bank account number, all of those things.
Is it
Sammy,
gonna
we
be-
want to know it all, man.
Tenant verification.
Yeah. So thank you for coming, number one, and for taking a trip to Rosenberg, Texas. I'm pretty sure customs immigration agents didn't give you too much of a hassle.
No. I got saved.
Good.
I've become U.S. citizen now, so I'm good.
So who's Sammy?
Sure. Thanks, guys, for giving me this opportunity to be here. My name is Sammy Gupta. I came to U.S. back in '94.
Okay.
So almost half my age I've been in U.S. and originally I'm from India.
Okay.
I came here for doing education, basically, and then immediately finishing my degree, I got a job in the oil industry.
Okay.
I worked for a couple of oil companies, and
What's
so-
your degree in? Engineering, I guess?
it's in business. In
Oh,
fact.
okay.
Yeah. So I got an MBA.
Okay.
Yeah, and then working for oil companies, again, I started thinking about having some kind of a passive income, right? So it's giving your time for $1 every day, going into the job and coming back home, and my job started becoming more and more stressful and traveling, and then I got married in about 2000. Yeah, year 2000 I got married, and being away from the family really, really put a lot of pressure in finding alternatives to getting passive income or getting some kind of a mailbox money, so I can really figure out how to support myself and the
Mhm.
family without a job. Right.
Mailbox money. So, yeah, we have a lot of people that listen to our show that are basically in that position. They might be listening to us right now from their desk at their job. And
or in traffic going to work,
that's right. But
stuck in about an hour and 30 minutes on either I-10 or 290. How about that?
So they all go through and we all, I mean, myself included, we all went through the same process, where we at some point had a job and started looking for that avenue. And I like how you say that the what is it, mailbox?
Mailbox money.
Mailbox money.
Right.
All right. So explain, then how you transition from that corporate world into finally getting that mailbox money.
Sure. So in about 2004, I started to learn about real estate itself, as to what entails real estate.
Mhm.
Is it, buying properties? Is it rehabbing properties? Is it what what compasses a real estate? So I learned myself, got some books, and bought my first rental property in 2005.
Okay.
It was a pretty straightforward bread and butter deal,
Mhm.
3 to 2. All it needed was some paint and carpet shampoo.
You see how people put it? He puts it as bread and butter. I call it cookie cutter. Right?
Depends what part of the world you're
Depends
from.
on what part of the world you're from. You may have a name or so for them, and you might look at it different ways. I see it as a sweet. It's,
Yeah, you
it's
like
it's
cookies
cook-
more-
I like cookies. So he see it more as bread. Hey,
Yeah, because I like bread and butter. I like
There
to
you
I like to
go.
eat it better.
Some people might call it pizza and butter. I don't know.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, back up a little bit. How did you find that first property? Because that's another question that people are most people know that real estate is a good venue for passive income, versus, I don't know, the stock market where you just put your money there and hope that the market goes up and eventually in 30 years you'll sell your stocks or your mutual funds and get money. Real estate can provide that, steady income every month if you do it right. But how did you find that first property?
I'm glad you asked, and I'm glad you touched on the stock market a little bit. So I'll back up
You
a
got
little.
burned too?
I did.
You see this?
Yeah, you see the tan? I'm more tan than you. So obviously, doing a degree from here and a pretty well degree. So
Yeah, you're
the
MBA, so you
MBA,
must know about
stock market, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the major financial learnings that you do in being in college, right? Get a job and put your money in 401k, or go to the stock market.
Wall Street.
Give it to the Wall Street, right? So I did. I invested pretty heavily the second year, and they do teach you start investing early, right? As soon as you get your first job.
As soon as you put that first foot in your new job, fill out the 401k and tell them how much money you're gonna give Wall Street.
And that's exactly what I did, right? And I could match 15% of my salary. The 15 went right into 401k. And in 2000 there was a crash where not too many people remember that. That was a dot-com bust. 99 was really the top, and the dot-com bust.
I think if you're not a millennial, you'll know exactly what happened
Yes.
that year.
Yeah, so I'm in my 40s. So I've been to that. So I lost almost 40-50% of my portfolio.
Wow.
And that was a big hit.
I did too, but with some contractors that stole money from me.
So yeah, we're not saying that real estate is by any means it's away from the risk. There's always risk on everything. You just have to learn how to control it, and at least I think that real estate you can control it.
I think it's safer because at the end of the day you have an asset.
Yeah.
And you got something that you can go back into it and you can touch it, you can feel it, you can see it. Even if
it's
it
not going to
burns,
disappear.
and even if it burns down to the ground, you still own the land. So your money will not disappear 100%. The difference on the stocks and all of those things is that the money can disappear 100% from one day to the other one because of whatever happens.
Exactly.
So you lost some money in 2000, during the dot-com bust.
Right. And I want to point one item what Ricardo just mentioned is he was differentiating between stock market and real estate. Now think about that. Banks are very conservative, right? They would loan you money on real estate.
Yeah.
Would they ever loan you money on stock market or gold or investing in all those hedge
No.
funds? No, right? So there you go. So there
That's a good point of view.
Yeah.
I haven't
that's-
really thought about it.
This is what we're going to take from this podcast is, will a bank loan money on stocks? If not, ask Sammy. He'll let you know.
right. So imagine that, right? That is a big differentiating factor. And I'm sorry, you had asked me a question.
Yeah, how do you find your first property?
Okay, perfect. So I had gone through a lot of books, and from books I went to radio shows, and from radio shows I learned that Houston is a huge market.
What books were you reading?
So I started with Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Exactly.
I started
You
with
need to put that on your list. That's the number one book to read if you want to get
haven't
it.
read that one, I mean, you're missing out on I would say that's the book that the vast majority of people
Well, the one thing, and I like to make a parenthesis real quick. The one thing about Rich Dad Poor Dad is that Robert Kiyosaki explains into details very well on how you can be in the different quadrants. And how you can be an active investor, a passive investor, you can be a self-employed, you can be an employee, and he explains the difference in between all four of them and how you can maximize those quadrants to your advantage. He says you eventually want to be on the last one on the right, which is the
independence, retirement.
independent, self-employed, passive investor. But for the most part, for all of us to get there, you have to go through all the other three quadrants.
Yeah, start as an employee
and grow into that. But a lot of people, they hate on Robert because he's got seminars that are very pitchy, and he's got coaching programs that are designed to collect revenue. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
But the truth is that the book itself to me, it's got all the knowledge you need in order for you to at least get started or start thinking about getting started and how you can benefit from it, from not only an income perspective, from a tax perspective,
The mentality, the mindset.
the mindset, how you get into investing, how you start surrounding yourself with people that are investing, all those things. He touches all of them on the book. So thank you for sharing that, Sammy.
Right. It's all about mindset, like you guys
It's
said, right?
mindset,
It's a
yeah.
mindset, and the only when you read those books, your mindset starts to change, and it's very different mindset from what you've been taught in schools, really.
Correct.
And school could be anything, high school or
And you're,
college.
what country you come from?
India.
So I'm from Venezuela. Dennis from Puerto Rico. And even though we come from 3 different regions that are completely different in the world, the school system is fairly the same.
Exactly.
Go to school, get good grades,
Get a job.
get a job, or so you can go to college, and so you can get a degree, so you can later on get a job, so you can later on, provide stability and reach whatever dream. On this case, they sell the American dream, which is owning a house.
Hmm.
And even though we come from 3 different parts, completely different in the world, it is the same thing. Actually, I know of kids that get spanked because they didn't get an A, right?
Exactly.
And I saw it in my classroom. I was the D student. I was not a C student. I was a D student
You were
because
like
I chose
barely a student.
to. Yeah, because I chose to, right? I just wanted to party, man. That was my deal.
And that's exact experience. The funny thing you mentioned that I experienced the same situation. Kids who were getting all A's, and good for them. I mean, people call them nerdy kids, but they get really good jobs, and they never look for any other alternatives apart from doing the job and either rising in the organization and that's what their everything is as a job. But the kids in my class who were really a party guys, and you alluded to that a little bit, and now financially in my country, because I'm still friends with them, wealth wise they're doing much better, the kids who
Yeah, absolutely.
were C's and
Actually,
B's.
the A students are probably working for the C students
That's
It's
right.
crazy. It's
that's
crazy.
how it works normally.
because they figure this is what happens to C students, right? They want to party, they want to make it easy, they don't want to do the work to study and learn. Or I'm not gonna say all of them, because I read every day, I study every day,
Yeah.
but I study the subjects that I want to learn about.
And it happened later in life.
Right, but no, even when I was growing up, I was playing basketball and I had to study the game of basketball to be a better basketball player.
Yeah.
But that's where my interest was at the time. My interest wasn't about studying history or
Yeah.
math or physics or whatever.
Anthropology.
Right, I wasn't about any of that. But the truth is that C, D, and C students figured a way out to create a system to attract the A students to do it for them, because I was doing it when I was going to school. I will hook up with the A students like, hey man, that homework, can I check it out? And they're like, no, I'm not
That's
gonna let you
entrepreneur in training.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. And
Exactly.
that's true. And I was like, hey, can I check out your homework, man? I didn't do mine this weekend. And they're like, I'm not gonna let you see it. And they're like, okay. She said no. I'm gonna go to the next one until you
So
found.
you learn negotiating skills. You learn being persuasive. You learn all that by
You know what I did once? I actually got the homework, but I didn't feel like writing it down.
Oh my God.
Actually, like on the notebook. And I went and found somebody else to write it down for me. It's like, hey, I'll pay you this much. But that's how.
So you were hiring VAs back then.
I was hiring VAs back then,
And
right?
VAs are virtual assistants for those that are
Right.
not that into the real estate market.
But getting back on track, so that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, talks about all the different aspects of how do you go from changing the mindset into maybe start thinking, maybe I can do this thing.
And there's other ways, which is, some people think that the normal path of going to school, getting a degree, getting a job, it's like the only way.
Which, by the way, we don't discourage anybody.
No,
Right.
we need employees.
Yep. That's right. We need very good accountants. We need very good engineers. We
Lawyers
need,
and,
lawyers, and you need to go to school for those things, and you need to have the patience. You see, it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of, dedication to show up in school on time, to get the grades that you need to get, to study, read all the books. Man, I bet. I don't know how many books a lawyer, an attorney reads, but those things are about this big. And doctors and doctors not only need to learn the books, but they need to memorize all the terms.
Yeah.
But anyways, going back to you, Sammy. So you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and you said, okay, I'm gonna go become a multimillionaire in real estate now. Then what else did you read? What other books did you throw in the mix?
Then I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I still read it.
I'm reading. Yeah, I still read that. I probably read it a second or third time, because you need to keep revisiting. You need to keep revisiting. Life is too fast. You'll forget, or you'll change. Your mindset changes dramatically every day. And if you don't keep track, like just like athletes, right? They, as soon as they stop practicing, I'm talking about athletics, athletes, they stop practicing or start eating unhealthy, there you go, they've lost track.
Right.
And you got to keep track in your profession, in what you love to do and what you like to do.
No, and you know what, when you mentioned the working out, the being an athlete, we get so busy with work and we make it our number one priority that we forget to do those things. And then you start gaining weight. And Dennis and I get to almost 300 pounds, right? And then we look at each other like, man, we weren't like this. He tells me all the time how he used to ride bicycles and I used to play basketball. And I'm like, okay, now we need to regain that and kind of like focus and get back on track. But it takes to listen to podcasts about people that we admire and that we look up to. Read those books, because you might have read it when you were 13, 14, 20, 25, but it makes a whole different thing or different idea when you're 40.
It's almost
45.
a new book. Sometimes.
It's like reading a new book.
I don't know if you guys have tried that. I've tried to highlight a book the first time, and then I've taken another highlighter with a different color and do the second time, and it's a totally different book to me sometimes.
No, I haven't tried that. That's a good trick.
It's amazing because how you grow over time, your mind shifts and changes, and the words mean something else to you, and a lot of sentences and words you may have totally overlooked the first time makes now sense, and it kind of comes together, it gels in your brain. It's very different.
Which, by the way, I'm getting a good idea for renovating Rich's Radio website. We need to put there a tab, and this is a homework on Podio that goes on Podio for our cash flow marketing team. We need to put there the books to read, and we need to put links to Rich Dad Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich. What else?
The seven habits. Yeah, Covey. So it's kind of mostly management style.
Okay.
That's when you're growing in a business, how you want to work with your employees, how do you want to work with your team, and what are the expectations.
We just tell them what to do. Nah, I'm just kidding.
So basically reading books, these are really, really resources which you need to employ in anything that you do, in any mastery that you want to gain, right? So I fell in love with real estate more and more. There are a lot of online forums that you can go to. So this online
Bigger Pockets is one of them that we talk about all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm a pro member on there. So Bigger Pockets is there. There's a lot of information. Radio shows are there. And now with digital age, there is all this social media, Instagram and Facebook, where people talk about this stuff. And you can get nuggets from everything. So back to now, answering your question. Yeah, so I kind of figured it out. Real estate is a huge medium. And financing, I wanted to finance my first property. I had the only really good thing about me was I had a very good credit, right? So 90% on investment properties used to be the norm at that time.
Yeah,
in
back
2005,
before the 2007, 2008
Exactly. So
you got this property, you finance it, using your credit, conventional financing. But we still haven't talked about how did you find it. Was it a wholesaler or MLS deal?
It was an MLS deal.
Yeah. Okay. So back then, you could pick up really good deals from the MLS. We know the story now; it's very different. But what you do with that property?
So in fact, I told the realtor, "Look, man, I want to rent it out from day one. As soon as I close, I want to rent it out." He goes, "Well."
So you didn't need it Any work? Any paint?
It needed paint and sharp carpet shampoo.
Okay.
And but I was really eager, so I said, okay, how about before closing the deal, can I send somebody to do touch-ups of the paint? And he said, are you sure? He was a real estate agent for a long time, and this was my first deal, but I really wanted to get into it because.
So you started.
Well, it was, what if you don't close? I said, I understand. I'll take what, $2,000 worth of risk, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not more than that. I mean, painting and doing carpet shampoo. He goes, well, look, it's up to you, okay? If you don't close, then you don't get it. I hope you understand. He told me like 4 times the same exact thing, and I would never do that now, by the way.
Yeah, well, he's a good agent.
Somebody asked me last week, is it worth sending people to this other house? And I was like, no, don't even think about that.
Yeah,
because
I know that we had to deal with this issue not long ago, but I can't remember. I don't know which house was it. The best?
Yes,
it was the Sebesta house,
Sebesta
right?
house.
Anyways, so I guess you closed on that one.
Yeah,
Right?
I did.
You didn't lose your $2,000 worth of paint and shampoo.
I did not.
No, but it made him sweat.
I did. And that was my first and the last thing, and I learned it. It's okay. It doesn't take that long for someone to go out even after the closing. It takes a week.
Right.
But for some reason, my mindset was incorrect. Like, I need to put it up for rent a day after I close, and I'll put a sign or put it in the newspaper, the ad, and whatever. But anyways, yeah, I did close. So that was 2005. And then I got more partners with me. We bought a bunch of rent houses from 2005 to 2008. We did minor repairs and rented them out. And then 2008 came about. The market just crashed. I mean, it just
it was a freaking nuclear bomb.
It was a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
The financing dried up. That was number one. There was foreclosures that came about in 2009. We would go into a neighborhood with probably 2 feet tall grass, right? And for sale, for rent. And we just couldn't pick enough of the houses. And there was a time in about 2012, we got scared ourselves. We said, man, what are we doing? We picked so many properties that we couldn't do it anymore.
Now, you were picking them up for rental, so I guess you were growing that rental portfolio.
From 2005 and 2008, we were doing all rentals. And that kind of saved us because we were not in the flipping mode at that time, or we had not learned about flipping at that time because we were still getting the same rent. So imagine this, right? About real estate. The market is 50% drop, but we are still making equity and our cash flow, positive cash flow every month, even when the market is bad. And there was nobody was doing. I mean, what I'm saying is that we were still really good. We had on paper.
I was doing the same thing you were. I was just buying properties left and right for rentals because you couldn't flip them. The banks wouldn't approve anybody for a loan. Number one, I didn't care who you were. You weren't getting approved. They will find an excuse to get you disapproved. And then number two, the appreciation wasn't there for refinancing out and all kinds of other things. So you were forced
to be a landlord.
And if you had a hard money loan or some private loan or something like that, you had to renegotiate terms. Like on my case, that's what I did in order to carry the loan for a long time. And but I was investing in parts of town that maybe I wouldn't do today. But he got me started. And he's telling his story, and I'm relating to it because I was like, well, I didn't choose to become a landlord. I was forced to become a landlord.
But that's the beauty of real estate,
Yes.
right? That you have options. People that lost money in Wall Street,
Yeah,
stock
they didn't
market,
have an option.
what options do you have?
A couple of them jumped off buildings.
Are you gonna call the CEO of the company you're investing in stock and tell him, hey, get this thing straight? If not, I mean,
if not, I'm gonna pull my money out. What money?
your money's gone, buddy.
Yeah.
And I've seen the savvy investors, they go with the market's flow to do that options, right? like you said, when the market is really it's busting, you can be in the rental market, and when the market is right now really there's hardly any supply. You can be, if you're getting the supply of properties, you can be in the flipping market because the market is really hot. No matter what you buy, most likely you'll be able to flip it at a pretty good handsome profit.
Even
So-
if you make 10 grand and move away,
Yeah.
you're gonna have another one to pick up and
Right.
turn around and go from there.
And that's what our strategy is right now. So we are flipping and we're doing owner financing right now. And let's just say we have 15 properties in our portfolio, and tomorrow the market just busts. Let's just say worst case scenario, right? It does go down. Fine, we'll rent them out. I mean, we'll make repairs.
And now you can Airbnb them too. So right, because that didn't exist before.
No.
Yeah, you got
No.
another strategy.
Now you have another strategy.
Yeah.
So
Or
Dennis and I
exit.
were this morning at a property that we're going on Airbnb now.
Wow.
Now
we
we
can make a
need
lot
to
of money.
now we need to get to. I mean, we get to decorate the house.
Decorate the house and
and-
put little paintings and pick out the furniture that we want to put, because the truth is, as technology, and that's really where I want to get to now.
Mhm.
As technology grows, also another market opens up, and one of the ways I used to buy houses back then was off the MLS. Strictly, I didn't care for wholesalers that much, because I knew I could just go pick and choose what was available on the MLS and pretty much put an offer for asking price and get it if the price was good enough. Today, that's not the case. The MLS is dried out. You can still find deals here and there, but you really got to be good at scouting them out, knowing the areas, knowing the numbers, the whole 9 yards. And wholesalers, apart from us, they don't sell at 70%. They sell 80 to 85 to 90% in most cases. And we do it at 70% because for us it's a turning business. But which gets me to what brought you here. How do you go from the oil field to being a private a real estate investor into what you're doing now with your apps?
Sure. So, like I said, since 2005, we've been picking up properties mainly through MLS, and then we learned the wholesale gig back in when the market was probably in 2010. Since 2010.
Do you have a wholesaling company?
I do not have a wholesaler. I
Okay.
just pick it up from other wholesalers.
Okay.
We may wholesale some deals, which we may get it through the tax foreclosures,
Right.
which I'm going to talk to you in a minute. We may wholesale it out, but we don't have our own big wholesale.
Okay.
We don't put signs or anything. But then, like Ricardo mentioned, in the last 2 or 3 years, the market has really dried up. I mean, meaning that you just can't find thick profits in MLS deals or even through wholesalers. And we, again, you discover different things as the need arises, right? So we discover tax foreclosures still out there giving us handsome profits, and we could pick up properties either pre-auction or at the auction.
And just to some people that don't know exactly what we're talking about, can you explain a little bit what tax foreclosure means, especially to Texas, right? Because I know in some other states it works different, but at least in Texas,
Sure.
just do a quick explanation for our audience that don't know
Sure.
what that means.
Sure. Tax foreclosures are properties sold by the county for delinquent property owners, meaning if the property owners have not paid their property taxes, which nearly every county has property taxes in all of the country, the county may foreclose on the house, and those are the properties which get auctioned off every month. In Texas, by law, it's first Tuesday of every month.
Yes.
This property gets auctioned off.
So basically, if someone owed taxes on his property, and these
How
cor-
long does
cor-
it take? Like, how many years
So it,
before they go and auction you off?
it depends, because we have seen properties
Mhm.
that have 5, 8, 10 years of back taxes and have not been foreclosed. And then there are properties that after 1 or 2 years, boom, the county will jump on them.
it all depends, exactly. It depends on the homeowner and the property itself, right?
I guess the equity has something to do. So if the city knows there's a lot of equity, they'll jump on that one quickly.
Yeah.
Is it that how it works, or?
Well, the city is actually just going through their main the legal process, and it's just the homeowner sometimes put so many obstacles in the way of the city because they may have an attorney who might file a paperwork or who may stop some kind of a paperwork or who may say that I was not notified or served on time. So they may create bottlenecks, and that's why the process gets delayed. But the city usually follows a rigorous the normal process. But yeah, I did hear through the grapevine last year that there are places where the city is more active in certain neighborhoods in filing tax
Yeah, I
foreclosures versus others,
Hey,
which they
no.
really don't want.
I'm pretty sure
If they don't
don't.
want, they would rather not want to hold on to that property, or they don't want anything to do with it.
Mhm.
They just delay the process more. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's true.
They look the other way.
Yeah.
Like, hmm.
You
So if someone's not paying their taxes, they're during several years, I guess, or a year or something, the city or the county can foreclose on them, and then that's where you step in. That information, it's public,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, a normal person out there can walk into their county or the courthouse and request, hey, give me a list of houses that are going to be foreclosed on taxes. What's the advantage of what you do with your app, which is called County Tax Sale App, and they can find you at countytaxsaleapp.org. It's not .com, .org. What's the benefit? What do you provide in terms of value to that person?
Exactly. So they can. This is public information because it's county. All this is available on the. You need to go to the courthouse and get this information. What the technology or this app will do for you is getting all that information in your hand, on your phone, on a tablet, on your PC.
Without having going down
It
to the
saves you a
county.
drive.
A drive, parking, hassle,
Yeah,
dealing with the.
talking to the county employees, who sometimes is not the most pleasant visit.
Exactly, and then there are hundreds. So for the upcoming auction, there are 428 to 430 properties coming up. There's all these pages and pages and pages of data over there on the county. You just can't figure out what information you need and what is information relevant to you and what is not, right? So what we provide in the app is a very simple way to see that information, say on a map, like a GPS coordinate. So for example, you're in one part of town, you can pull up the app on your phone, you can see all the properties around you, meaning you can see what properties are coming up for the auction, and like I said, is geolocation is enabled, and you can
Okay.
zoom in, zoom out, you'll see like a Google map, you'll see all the pins, you click on any pin, you'll see a little pop-up. It'll show the picture of the property. It'll show you basic information about the address of the property. You can click on the address and it'll pull up your native mapping. You can then you can map and then go visit the property if you like to do that. It'll pull up the owner information. It pull up what the adjudged value is, what the bid value is, what county, what precinct it is, and you'll see owner information and their mailing address, which could be different than
Yeah, if it
The
is an
pr-
owner absentee,
exactly.
or they're out of town, or whatever the case might be, you can send them a little letter with directmailout.com. Directmailout.com.
Shameless blogging.
How about that? How about that? Or
Okay.
a postcard.
Now, I want to clarify something because you said you can go visit the property. When you say you can go visit the property, it's just drive around. You
Yeah,
can't.
well, you can door knock.
You can.
Right?
Well,
you can.
okay.
Hey, you're behind on taxes?
Exactly.
Can I
I'm
see
here to
your
help.
house?
I'm here to help.
Yeah. So people do that. So
So people let you in and then
the-
take
the-
a look at the house.
so we
No,
have
no different than a pre-foreclosure.
exactly
It's the same thing. It's just they're getting foreclosed on a different reason.
for a reason, and these are really
I'm
really
just
high.
asking for our audience, just in case. I know you can.
So exactly, these are really highly motivated people now because they have been trying to save their property for the last several years, like we just talked about a few minutes ago. They could not pay off delinquent taxes, and they have so behind now. They've already tapped out on their resources, meaning they've already talked to their family and their friends and all that, and trying to take loans.
Yeah, normally, and you have to think or get yourself in the shoes of that person. If you can't pay and it depends on the value of the property, it depends on the area and all that. I know, I get that. But if you can't pay a $3,000, $4,000, $6,000 bill, because that's pretty much what taxes are, you get that bill at the end of the year, and they give you some time to pay it off. If you cannot come up with two or three or $4,000 or $6,000 to save your property, the roof that's over your head, you must be in a very, very difficult situation. I mean, going through the process of losing your property over such a small amount, which obviously for that person is not a small
sometimes
amount.
it's accumulated, right? Because it's different
Yeah,
years.
I know.
So you're looking at $20, $30, $40,000 worth of back taxes, and
But that makes the motivation even greater. What I'm trying to say is that it's not like I don't know, any other of the motivations that, like divorce. Yeah, you have to sell your house, but you have some time, and then at the end of the day, if you don't sell it, you can rent it, and I don't know, split the profit with your ex spouse. But we're talking about high motivation because of what we're talking, the situation you're in, and losing a property, maybe a $200,000-$300,000 property over taxes, it's bad. All your investment there, it's gone. So how do you go about, contacting that person and trying to pick up properties? You mentioned just go and visit them. You can
'cause
mail them.
with the app. You can locate them, right?
Yeah, so exactly. With the app, what you could do is you can see all these properties, all the 400 or plus properties every month on the app, right? What you could do, the next step is the properties you're interested in, there's a little heart on every property. You can make them as a favorite. Or you can say, you can put them in your bucket.
Love.
You can put some love or put them in your bucket, basically, right? So say you're interested in 40 to 50 properties you're interested in. Now you can, all those properties, there are two benefits of putting them in your bucket or in your favorite list. Number one is you can download all that information in a CSV file or an Excel file.
I like the CSV file. We can process those very well here.
Right.
directmailout.com.
Directmailout.com. So you can
Yeah.
provide it to these guys, that CSV file. Hey,
Mail a letter to these people.
Mail a yellow letter, mail a postcard, mail to these guys. One thing I want to, obviously, every homeowner, they respond differently. So they may respond to the letter, and some may respond to a door knocking, and some may respond to a phone call or a text message. It's just different homeowners behave differently.
Now you don't provide the phone number of that person in your app. They'll have to do some sort of skip tracing, correct?
Exactly.
Okay,
That's
I get
another for our we don't provide the skip tracing, right?
Okay.
So that's one feature that they could do once the property is in their bucket. They could do mail outs, and they can contact the homeowner, and a lot of subscribers. And the great thing about that is they don't need to be in Texas. They don't need to be in Harris County. You can be all over the country and do exactly what I just said. You could pick up.
Yeah. Well, and even outside of the country, if you're in another country listening to
if
us.
you're interested in Harris County tax sales, then you need the app, and you could be in Seattle, Washington, whatever,
Or China.
or China,
For our
Yeah,
Chinese
you can
audience.
do that.
or Chinese audience. We know there's a lot of Chinese people that are buying here in Texas.
Oh wow. Okay.
So download the app, hit subscribe, pay your fee, and start learning how to use it.
Right.
And the app is countytaxsaleapp.org. countytaxsaleapp.org. If you want to get in contact with the
Sammy.
team, I'm just gonna say the team for the sake of this program.
Yeah,
is
we don't know if he's actually
support. Yeah, we don't know if Sammy is the team and the CEO plus the CFO, but it's okay. Support at countytaxsaleapp.org. Support, it's SUPPORT at countytaxsaleapp.org. Tell them Ricardo and Dennis sent you. Sammy will probably raise prices on you. No, I'm just kidding.
Now, let me ask. Is it only an app for mobile devices?
Oh, you can get on PC too.
Yeah.
So
So
you can see. Okay, so
so
if you get
it-
it on your desktop, you'll see the.
it's
okay.
better than an app. It's called a web app these days. So you'll see that with technology, people are using different sorts of phones, tablets, PC, and they want the same look and feel. The funny thing is they were really happy with the actual downloading of apps several years ago. Now what we're finding is they don't like to download at all. They don't want to use up the storage on their phones at all. So this is a web address actually, and
Okay.
and the look and feel, like I said, is exactly the same. You could see the same exact thing on your phone, no matter what phone you're using. It's called multi-device app. So you could
learning
be on a
something.
Samsung, Android, or iOS, or a Windows phone.
And I guess we're backing up here, but where did this idea came from? I'm obviously you knew about the tax sales. I guess there wasn't an app that was doing what you wanted, and you said, okay, here goes Sammy the entrepreneur, and you figured out how to.
Sammy said I need to be on the southwest quadrant of Rich Dad Poor Dad, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna come up with an app. Look, it's a great idea. And
Yeah.
that's why
It is.
when you were explaining the app to me, I was like, man, do you have this in Brazoria County? Because I mean, we'll be the first ones to sign up. Do you have this in Matagorda County? And he's got his reasons why he's sticking to Harris County for now.
And it's a very big reason. This is the third largest.
Most populous
county in the country.
In the country, right. There are a lot of homes that get tax foreclosed on, and there are a lot of properties that people can buy every month. Actually, every month.
So you guys are gonna be adding counties as you know.
Exactly.
This is fairly new. That's the other thing that I want to point out that Sammy started this venue or venture, I should say, not long ago. And
How long ago was it?
It's in March, so it's what, June now.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So in 5 months,
Yeah.
actually
Three-
March,
4 months.
3-4 months,
Yeah.
you've already got an app that's pumping out leads. So a lot of people always come to us and it's like, man, where do I get my leads? Well, you know where to get the leads now for the tax, the properties that are going on the tax sale is countytaxsalesapp.org. Make sure you send us the list on a CSV file so we can print them out and send your letters out.
So that's why we didn't call it Harris County. We call it County Tax
Yes.
Sale Lab because it's generic. with
Generic name.
every
You can
county.
move to
Yeah.
Atlanta,
We moved to
Georgia, LA,
or
New York.
grow it. Yeah.
And you'd asked me a couple of minutes ago, like the idea why. So me and my team, we are probably 5-6 people who buy tax foreclosures in the last 2-3 years, and we wanted to share information and get all that information instead of exchanging phone calls and text messages among each other. So that's what the idea is. So we've been using it for the last, since we have launched it to the public prior to that, and kinked out all the bugs and really used it ourselves for the last 6 months prior to that. So we've been using it since last year.
Okay, so the app is being constructed for over a year now,
Yeah.
and you guys pretty much worked all the bugs and the kinks out, and now it's getting released onto the public.
Exactly, because we are investors too. So we are not just techies out there just
Boom!
saying
That's where I like to point it out. We are investors too. This is not somebody that is trying to see how to gather the data.
It's not a web developer
Yeah.
No,
somewhere
no.
in California.
Yeah, or somebody in India. Maybe he's got people in India. But
Silicon Valley.
look, it's simple. An investor decided to gather information on how to get properties a better way by buying the tax auctions. And then he said, you know what? I'm going to create an app. That way I can buy properties easier by having the information all, broken down on how I like to see it as an investor. So investor Mr. Sammy goes out there and starts gathering information. He hires a team of people that puts it all together. And next thing he knows, he's testing the app for over a year with his group of investors. So he's putting his money where his mouth is
Right.
pretty much what we call it. It's like when we sell our letters, and I continue to bug you about the letters, but the truth is, we send the letters. Like, it's not like we don't send them. And we know what works, we know what doesn't work, we know why we'd rather send letters than postcards. I'm not saying postcards don't work, they do, but letters are more powerful. On your case, you came up with a solution for yourself, and now you're showing that solution to everyone else,
Exactly.
which is go to the countytaxsaleapp.org, and I'm going to repeat it about 10 times because I know that there's going to be investors that are going to bug me later on Facebook or Messenger.
How do you do this?
How do you do this? How do you get to the countytaxsaleapp.org website? Well, you just go and type it. You hit subscribe, and you log in and check in. So I want you to feel confident that this app is going to work for you just for the fact that Sammy is a real estate investor as well, and that's how he's buying 100% of his properties. I don't think you're buying from anyone else right now.
I've stopped buying from everywhere else. There's no margin left anywhere else from MLS or wholesale.
Unless you buy from us.
Yeah, probably. Yes, that's 70% less.
70% all in, man.
So that's one opportunity that we have there, and you can go to any browser. By the way, it's just a browser like how you would go on Google.com or
Right.
Yahoo.com. Just type in that web address. It could be Chrome browser, Safari.
Okay.
It
good.
doesn't
Yeah, 'cause
matter.
To your
It-
preference.
To your
it's not like
preference.
some other program that I'm not gonna name that forced me to learn how to use Chrome, which it's a good browser, but I was used to Safari.
Yeah.
You know, I've always had Macs.
I'm
you
a
know, not always.
I'm a Firefox guy. So
There you go.
know.
Firefox, it exactly works the same.
Yeah,
Just type it
okay.
on the web URL, you get it, boom, and you're there.
So you can technically start mailing or contacting these people tomorrow if you wanted to, just by going to your website, downloading or paying, you know, the fee.
And it's only how much?
It's it's pretty expensive. No, it's it's $7.99 a
Okay,
month.
so it's $799, but only today we're gonna give you a 99% discount, and you can pick it up for $7.99. How about that?
Less than $8 a month. It's a completely like
Are you serious? It's
Yeah.
just $8 a month.
$8 a month.
Yeah, yeah.
Sammy, man, are you losing money? We should talk later about raising that a
Yes.
little bit, because I mean, for $8
Well,
a month,
look,
you can.
he's marketing to the masses, right?
Right.
So he wants thousands and thousands of investors to use the app. $8 a month will do the trick.
Right.
So
So it's we're selling information, right? And information and people need different tools. You know, if you're a contractor or you're a homeowner, or I mean you're a flooring guy, you need different tools. This is one of the excellent tools you need to put it in your pocket to do investing, right?
Yeah,
So
especially at that price.
we are not there to really take a lot of like fee for the information. Information is, I know, is a key. So not only it's $7.99 a month, you can cancel anytime. It's built into the app itself. And today what we're doing is we're giving you 7 days free trial. Just go onto the website, go through. Your credit card will not be charged for the first 7 days. Try it out for yourself. You like it, keep it. You don't like it, no big deal.
Wow, that's amazing.
I love it.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
love
very
it.
much.
Now, I love it. Now, make sure you download the leads and you go to directmailout.com. You have to register for. It's free, just like Sammy's website is. On our case, it's free. You register for free. Then you pick up a letter, and we do have tax delinquent letters. So you can pick up one of our letters, upload it, and hit the button upload, and then you upload the list, and you hit the button as well. We're gonna get the list you're gonna go buy at the countytaxsaleapp.org with the letter you're gonna pick out from our tax delinquent letter on directmailout.com, and we're gonna process your order in 24 to 48 hours. And your phone is gonna be ringing in about 3 to 4 days.
No, seriously, guys. These are really highly motivated
Yes.
people. I mean, like I said before, people the back is against the wall for 30. If you don't help them as an investor and make money in the end,
And right now we got a week left because
so there is somebody who's going to make that opportunity, contact them, and pick up those properties.
Yeah.
And these people, they need help in terms of either selling the property or if not even, you know, a loan that you can give, and the loan you can make any amount of interest that
10%.
10%.
Normal.
You can make it within 3 to 6 months, and or have the
To
deed
give them
sent to you.
time to
Yeah,
come up
exactly.
with money.
So there are a lot of options here.
So okay, where do you go next, Sammy? Like right now, you got Harris County rolled out,
So we're going to target the biggest counties in Texas first, right?
which are
The next one may be Dallas, and then maybe Brazoria.
what's that? What's that? The county in Dallas? What is it?
It's called Dallas.
It's Dallas
yeah,
County?
Dallas
Okay.
County. Yeah. So we'll.
That's easy.
Dallas County. Watch
Or
out,
the
Sam,
one in-
Sammy
That is Travis.
coming.
Travis
The
is
one in
pretty
San
big.
Antonio, that
Behar County.
Bear.
Bear County.
Bear,
Yeah,
and
'cause
then
it-
Travis
it's
is.
pronounced different than it's written. All right, so Texas, the major counties. Then I guess you can start looking into other states. I guess.
Exactly, because it's almost the same. We just need to have our folks on the ground, because there is a lot of. One thing I forgot to say is that if someone has been to the tax county auctions, they've realized that properties do cancelled,
Yes.
meaning a homeowner has paid their delinquent
dues.
taxes,
They found the money.
and they don't get notified. So they're at the courthouse, or well, in Harris County, they're at the auction, but their properties have been canceled. We will text you and email you saying, no, these properties have been canceled. Don't
no
worry
longer
about it.
available.
It's no longer available. So imagine that's
Okay,
a
that's-
huge feature.
So
that
it's like real life data.
is live data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have your own assistant going to the county sale every month, and you don't have to do it yourself. All right. Well, with that, I think we're running out of time, but we want to thank you so much, especially for the 7-day free trial for our audience. So if you're listening to us, just make sure you hit Sammy with any questions. Again, support at countytaxsaleapp.org, or just visit their website, countytaxsaleapp.org. Sammy, we want to thank you so much for being here with us, with bringing all this information to our audience. And to you all that are listening to us or taking a look or watching us live, just make sure you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button or share with your friends, family members. Hit like. Give us a review on iTunes. That helps build our audience and presence out there. So, again, thank you, Sammy, for coming all the way here to our studios. And with that, we're going to finish our program today. Ricardo.
Directmailao.com. You need to go there and buy your letters.
We know who sponsored this show today.
Yeah, this is a sponsor for the show. It's actually, we got two sponsors, directmailao.com and countytaxsaleapp.org. So go ahead and support Sammy. Use the app. If you got a question, you got a suggestion on what it will work for you as an investor to get some sort of data that you might want to see, send him an email to support at countytaxsaleapp.org. And let them know, and I'm pretty sure they'll be happy to look at it.
We have actually added a lot of features because of our investors. They said, adding
the feedback.
Add mapping facility and add own information. We have added. I mean, we have not only used ourselves, but
that always helps the development team.
Right, and we will even contact you back. Just provide us the phone number if you're having difficulty or any information. We'll walk you step by step using the app. We'll call you back and we'll help you in any shape or form.
Excellent.
Well, thank you so much for coming, Sammy. We appreciate your visit. We're looking forward to use your app, actually, to be your users, and to also put a link from your website to our users. That way, we can direct traffic to you. So, with that being said, you all have a great day and be blessed.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.